It really just all comes down to the primary goal and in the individual. Again, I know I keep saying it comes down to individual, but I've worked with a lot of people and I found that some things like that work for some people are just, for example, some people feel amazing fasted training, right? And that they eat something or they try to, go the other route and they just don't feel great. And then I have other people who think that they feel great training fasted, and then they start to incorporate maybe a little bit of protein and even carbs before their workout, and they're like, oh wow, I feel a lot better, and they can push harder during their workout, right? So that is something that it really just comes down to testing and assessing. But I find kind of in general, if we want to put like a general kind of numbers behind things, and for what I try to do is, for me, when I'm working out, I work out kind of midday. So like 11 o'clock. Yeah. So I try to, especially with my goals right now, which are to continue to build muscle and optimize my body composition, I find going into my training with some fuel definitely helps me to push myself a little bit more. And when we're talking about like specific macronutrient distribution throughout the day, I try to get about 50% of my carbs around my workout. So if we're looking at kind of the whole day, and this will depend on the person, obviously, like how many, carbs they're consuming or not. So, but in general, a good kind of rule of thumb is like, all right, let's place 50% of your carbohydrate intake around your workout. And that is going to help for pre-workout to facilitate a little bit more energy, give you a little bit more energy for the workout, and then post-workout facilitate that recovery side of things. If you are going into your training fasted, I think that it is more important to think about what you're consuming afterwards in terms of protein specifically. If you are consuming carbs, if you are more in the not in like a super low carb diet, then you're kind of creating, you're getting carbs in after that to help with that recovery. So get you out of that sympathetic state when you're in training, because we know training is a stress on the body, right? It's a good stress, but you want to get into that recovery state afterwards as kind of as fast as possible. So consuming one, protein, obviously, to kind of start that muscle protein synthesis response and get that going. Get some carbs in if that's what works for you, to help kind of mitigate that cortisol response and bring you more into that rest and digest mode. And then I try to kind of space the majority of my fat intake a little bit further away from my workout. And that just, if you think about it practically, it just kind of makes sense. Like, not zero fat around my workouts, but if more of my carbs are going to be around my workouts, then more of my fat's going to be kind of on the other end of it. But you don't want to have zero fat around your workout, especially pre-workout, because that might actually have a little bit of issue. Some people think, oh, I shouldn't have any fat before my workout because it's gonna, slow me down or anything like that. There are some, fat does slow digestion, but if you have zero fat, you could have an adverse response in terms of blood sugar spikes and dips during your workout, which we obviously don't want that. So yeah, that's kind of how I would structure nutrition, but that's a very generalized approach, obviously.